What's up, YouTube? Welcome back to the channel. Your financial future is in jeopardy unless you click the link in my bio. No, I'm just kidding. I couldn't resist. Those young folks, they bug me out with the click the link in the bio. That's not why we're here. Your financial future is in jeopardy unless you cultivate perspective and employ gratitude on a daily basis. That's the gist of what we're talking about here tonight. And I would challenge you. Have you ever found yourself in a situation as it pertains to your finances? Because I believe it's 4 or 5 or 6 out of every 10 adults in America can't put their hands on $1,000 cash if some type of unexpected life event happens. And you say to yourself, man, is it too late to get ahead financially? You know, you're in your 30s, your 40s, your 50s, maybe even your 60s. Or, you know, I'm not where I believe I should be. Or no one ever taught me about money. So, you know, I've been hand to mouth and check to check, you know, for so many years. I don't even know where to start. And if you found yourself in those situations, I'm sure that there's almost like a sense of hopelessness. Like what do I even do to get ahead financially? Well, I'm glad you've experienced that. I've experienced that too. Now, fortunately for me, I had those challenges in my 20s, and it set me off on my search over the past couple decades to make sense out of this component of life that we find ourselves in, where we want to live our passions, you know, we want to strive toward our dreams, we want to provide for our families, we want a brighter future for our children. And in America, it's tough to do any of those things without money, all right? So this channel is about all things business, investing, financing, and ultimately being a steward of the resources you've been blessed with, and how to move forward in such a way to create the financial future today that your future self tomorrow will be thankful for. And so, what is wealth? What is wealth? I've heard a few definitions. I've heard wealth is based on how much money you have, how long can you go if you don't have any more money coming in. Well, the only way you can go about that is if you have some type of assets in place or you have some large lump sum. But the truth of the matter is, if it costs you $3,000 a month and you got $9,000 cash and you wake up tomorrow unemployed with no assets, then you're 3 months wealthy. That means you can go about 3 months before things get real weird real fast. But one of my favorite definitions of wealth, I just happened upon in the last few weeks. This brother by the name of Myron Golden gave probably one of the most phenomenal definitions of wealth I've heard. And basically he says, wealth is the value that you create for someone other than yourself. Let me say that again. Wealth is simply the value that you create for someone other than yourself. So let me give you an example. I'm sure half of you, if not more of you that are watching this YouTube video, are probably doing it on some type of Apple device, aka the founder, Steve Jobs. I'm sure several of you that are watching this video have either utilized or heard of Facebook or Instagram. Mark Zuckerberg, founder, created that. I'm sure several of you on here have probably ordered something today, yesterday, last week, last year from Amazon, aka Jeff Bezos, the founder and CEO of Amazon. And last but not least, I'm 100% certain that probably everyone watching this video has at some point in the last 24 hours to 72 hours Googled something, aka the founder and former CEOs Larry Page and Sergey Brin, two partners that were studying for their PhDs at Stanford who invented Google. Now, why do I mention those scenarios? Going back to the definition of wealth, wealth is creating something of value for someone other than yourself. And if you can find a way to do that, that is true wealth. Because ultimately, we're all put here to do one of two things. Well, actually, both. Yield to our higher selves and serve others. And the greatest way to create wealth in America and in this day and age is to create a value that can be of service to someone other than yourself. Serve your fellow man or woman. And so how do you go about doing that? When you're paycheck to paycheck, hand to mouth, nobody ever taught you about money, you're 49 years old and you can't put your hands on $1,000. Well, I'm going to tell you, there's two things I mentioned earlier: perspective and gratitude. Why are these two things important? And these are the first two things I feel you need to cultivate. Perspective is simply this: how you see the world based on where you're at. That actually it's a reality that if you don't get outside of yourself, your perspective can actually imprison your thinking and your vision on what you can do with your life. So I'll give you this example. In the sport of football and basketball, there's 4 quarters, all right? And if you look at your financial journey as 4 quarters, because traditional retirement is the age 65, which is outrageous. But for this example, let's just take, you start working in your mid-20s, and typically most folks strive to retire by 65. That's not what we're going to do, but for the sake of perspective, I want you to look at it like this. Whether you feel you're behind, whether you feel you started too late, whether you feel you're just too old, think about this. There's 4 quarters in this financial game that we're all playing. The first quarter, you can say, is from the age of 25 to 35. The second quarter is from 35 to 45. And boom, that's halftime at 45. And you need to take an assessment. I would say every decade, but your vision should be a minimum a decade out. Well, the third quarter is 45 to 55. That's where I currently find myself at. And then the fourth quarter is 55 to 65. Now, if you hadn't figured out this money game by the age of 65, then you know what? It's overtime, baby. You got to do whatever it takes from 65 and beyond to make sure that you have something in place that's going to take care of you and your loved ones. And so perspective, simply say to yourself, where do I fall at in this timeline of the money game? Now, I'm going to reveal things over the course of, the next several weeks, months, and years on how you can financially secure your future in the next 7 to 10 years, possibly 5 to 7 if you want to get intense. And yes, there's ways that you can do, crack the code in 24 months or a year. But listen. We're talking about crock pot. We want to get the seasoning right. We want to get the recipe right. We want to make sure the foundation, the base of everything that we put together can withstand the storms and the vicissitudes that life's going to inevitably throw your way. And so 5 to 7, 7 to 10 years, no matter where you're at on this pendulum of time, can change your financial future indefinitely. But for perspective's sake, I just want you to think about, on that timeline of 25 to 65, where do you fall at? And I'm here to tell you, whether you're 25 or 65, the perspective of where you're at will help you in where you want to go. The second thing is gratitude. You have to develop and employ a spirit and attitude of gratitude. No matter where you're at, you cannot aspire or strive to a greater vision for yourself if you're not grateful for where you are and the blessings that you have in your life currently. There's a spiritual scripture that speaks to something to the effect of, he who's faithful with little will be blessed with more. And the only way you could be faithful with little is to be grateful for where you are in your life, regardless of what you think the circumstances are. If you've been blessed with the opportunity to get a fresh breath of air into those lungs every morning, be grateful for getting up and seeing another day. If you're in good overall physical health, you have to be grateful for that physical health. If you have a way and a means to earn and provide for your family, you got to be grateful for any and all those things. And even for those things aren't going well, be grateful that you're aware and you're alive, that you know, hey, you know what? Things could be a whole lot worse. Things could be a whole lot better. I'm simply grateful. With those two things, perspective and gratitude, they can set you on your way to creating a greater financial future than you currently believe you have today. Because wealth is creating value for someone other than yourself, but it all starts in your mindset. If you don't have the right mindset, then nothing matters, because everything, your current life was created in your mind, whether you believe it or not. Where you're at today is based on where you saw yourself at yesterday. And guess what? If you didn't see yourself in any particular place, well, that's why you just happen to be in a place that you're not necessarily happy with today. So when it comes to economics, finance, investing, and all things money, you want to start with the proper mindset first. And I would dare to say that you need to cultivate perspective and employ gratitude, and then get to the fundamentals, because money and finance is 80%. Get this, this is powerful. Money and finance and investing is 80%. 80%. Wait for it. Wait for it. Mental and 20% practical. Okay? It is 80% mental and emotional. And if you don't get that part right, you'll never get the practical portion right. So tonight, I just wanted to share with you all how to overcome a potentially compromised financial future by working on getting your mindset right. And I would challenge you or call you to action to do a couple of things first. Take the time and invest if all you have is $30 to $40. When it comes to mindset and perspective, I want to encourage you. Start with, this is too easy, the book Mindset by the author Carol Dweck, okay? And basically is how you can learn to fulfill your potential. I'm telling you, this is gonna take your perspective to a whole nother level and get your mindset right. Now, as far as gratitude, you don't need a book on gratitude. We all know what gratitude is. It's just a matter of being grateful for every day you're blessed with an opportunity to get out in the world and figure it out again for yourself. But do those things. Get that book Mindset. Let's start cultivating the mentality that'll help you to accomplish whatever vision it is you have for your future, regardless of where you're at on that timeline of 25 to 65. And keep the perspective, coupled with gratitude, that whatever it is you aspire to do is within your reach, because we were being created to be bigger than any challenge that life may throw at us. We just have to believe that, become the individual, and then implement, do the things that we know we're capable of doing. And at some point, we'll have the desired results that we all desire. With that, YouTube, hey, I appreciate y'all tuning in this week. I look forward to chopping it up with y'all again here soon. I'm contemplating doing adding another, session in other than Sundays. I'm working through the details. My son inspired me to introduce some of my practical applications with some things we currently got going on, and it's coming soon. But as far as this week and tonight, I appreciate you guys tuning in. Until next time, remember, you work hard on your job, you earn a living. You work hard on yourself, you can make a fortune. Peace out, YouTube. I appreciate y'all.